Think about the consequences of global warming. Do you remember the fact that Hurricane Sandy flooded lower Manhattan? How about Hurricane Katrina, which destroyed the New Orleans? Have you noticed hurricanes are getting more destructive and are forming superstorms? Hi, my name is Evgeni, and today I will try to persuade you that the US and planet did a long-term comprehensive plan to do everything possible to avoid runaway greenhouse effect. Most people marry and have children, so we should be concerned about the world we will pass on to future generations. As a husband and father, I concerned about the health of our planet. As a result, I keep up with the research developments in global warming, the greenhouse runaway effect, and related issues. In this video, I'll try to convince you that we need a global policy to make sure we avoid runaway greenhouse effect. Let's do it. Global warming is an established scientific fact. Our planet is warming up and human activities are the cause. Fact. Burning fossil fuels is the main reason for pollution and global warming. We don't understand every little detail involved, but there is no doubt that global warming is happening. Moreover, it's getting worse. Since the industrial revolutions, humans have been burning increasingly more fossil fuels. For 2 centuries now, factories, cars, airplanes, ships, and other human activities have been burning fuel and polluting the atmosphere with carbon dioxide, methane, and other poisons. As the planet warms up, increasingly more polar ice melt, rising sea level, disrupting weather patterns and flooding coastal areas. Worse yet, for the first time in the thousands of years, the planet's permafrost has been melting, releasing more pollutant gases. For example, in a June 7, 2020 article, Jean-Philippe Chagot wrote the following: locked into the permafrost is an estimated 1.7 trillion tons of carbon in the form of frozen organic matter. There is the remains of rotten plants and long dead animals trapped in sediment and later covered by ice sheets. Permafrost soils contain roughly twice as much carbon as Earth's atmosphere. In other words, the future looks bleak for polar bears, unfortunately. And humans will be next if we don't act in time. The more people live longer, the more fossil fuels we burn and the worse global warming gets. As a result, global temperatures rise and our planet is turning into a kind of greenhouse. The heat from the sun pours in daily and human activities generate increasingly more heat. As a result, not enough heat escapes out to space. Instead, more and more heat is trapped in our planet's atmosphere. According to NASA, a runaway greenhouse effect occurs when a planet absorbs more energy from the sun than it can radiate back to space. Under these circumstances, the hotter the surface temperature gets, the faster it warms up. Nobody knows when exactly runaway greenhouse effect will kick in. There are simply too many variables involved. However, there is no doubt that bad things will happen if we don't act. For example, in July 13 article in Scientific American magazine, Lee Billings wrote the following: in a study from the University of New South Wales in Sydney, was calculated that warming slightly in excess of 10 degrees Celsius could render that the larger portions of our planet become uninhabitable for many centuries. In other words, there is no doubt that we must act soon. The question then becomes, what do we do? Basic logic shows that we must choose caution and do everything we can to prevent a runaway greenhouse effect. We must phase out the use of fossil fuels as soon as possible. We must invest increasing amounts of capital into the development of renewable energy sources and new technologies. Solar energy, wind power, geothermal energy, and other renewable sources must spread across the planet until they replace completely all fossil fuels. The US and the planet need a long-term comprehensive policy to phase out fossil fuels gradually and replace them with renewable energy sources. To conclude, we must do everything we can do to help our planet avoid runaway greenhouse effect. In fact, by 2050, we should phase out all fossil fuels and phase in renewable resources. Fortunately, the new American administration already rejoined the Paris Agreement, so things will improve. The only question is now how much they will improve and how fast. We all have an important role to play because consumers spend it in 70% of the US economy. So the future of our planet in our hands. Thank you for the lesson.